I was planning to make a lot of videos with this Volvo EX30, but within 48 hours I realized there is only one video I can make at this moment about this car. And you are watching it right now. The Volvo EX30 is a great new car with plenty of room. Not room in the interior, no. Room for improvement. What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome in the next generation, newest Volvo, the Volvo EX30. Now in this video I'm gonna tell, well, my first experiences with this car. It will not be some kind of rant about how bad this car is due to poor software and whatnot, because you know, it's still a new car and unfortunately we'll probably need to be a bit patient for future updates to make this car better and better. But overall, this package is very enjoyable already. So I'm going to share the things I've experienced so far this week, both positively and also, well, not really negatively, but opportunities for improvement. And then hopefully in some weeks we'll have another EX30 back on the channel and maybe then it's already a bit better. But anyway, let me first tell you a bit more about this Volvo EX30. You join me more or less in the intro spec of this car. Back in Barcelona I had the exact same trim EX30 along to test basically the twin motor performance, the fastest Volvo ever, 428 horsepower, 0 to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour in less than 4 seconds, I believe 3.6 seconds. It is bloody quick, I can tell you that. Besides that, it is the all-wheel drive or the dual motor setup, so we have a battery motor on the front wheels and the rear wheels, powered by a 69 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now as for range, according to the WLTP standard, it would take you 450 kilometers far, but in reality, let's say a good 350 kilometers from this twin performance. I think that is fair to say. Now this is the Ultra spec, basically the most luxurious spec. You can also opt for a Core or a Plus trim on your Volvo. Core is just a very nice equipped Volvo EX30 already. With the Plus you get an even nicer spec, so to say, and then with the Ultra, more or less full option spec. This one you get, for example, the Pilot Assist, the 360 camera, the Harman Kardon sound system, the sunroof, and also the 22 kilowatt onboard charger, which means if you do some AC charging, if you have sufficient voltage in the outlet, so 22 kilowatt, you can charge up this car in about 3.5–4 hours, which is pretty impressive. Now with the administration out of the way, let's start with some positive findings about this car after a week of driving, just like a good performance review. So the first thing I enjoy a lot about the EX30 is the next generation infotainment system. This one is also Google based, just like the current generation Volvos, or is this the current generation? And then we need to say old generation Volvos. Anyway, it's powered by Google with this next generation interface, let's call it that. And the first day you need to get kind of used to it, but then after it's pretty enjoyable. It's very clear, easy going, easy to operate, easy to understand, and also way faster than, for example, my own Volvo C40, also running on the Google infotainment system, the previous generation then of course. But yeah, that's the thing I noticed, that this one is way quicker and also quicker awake, so to say. So if you get into the car, you put it into drive, you drive away and you call then it will automatically or immediately respond to you. Whilst in my C40, if I say, hey Google, sorry for the folks with Google at home, then it often takes a few seconds and it's a bit slowish, so that's really a nice improvement. Then the second thing is maybe even the best thing about the EX30. This one is surely the most fun and engaging and nicest to drive Volvo at this moment, and also of the past few cars. It's just a lot of fun. It steers very easily. You have sufficient grip. The acceleration is just a lot of fun, to be honest, but you can really throw it into a corner or a roundabout and just push it, and it still has sufficient grip, sufficient traction. Is just a lot of fun. Now also a thing which is very nice about this car is the visibility all around. I come from the Volvo C40, so of course every car is basically better visibility wise. But yeah, all around this car is just very bright, spacious feeling as well. Maybe also thanks to this nice breeze interior. The sunroof, of course. Yeah, it just makes up that this car is easy to operate, easy to see out and just flow along in traffic. Now with the Plus and Ultra spec you also get the Harman Kardon sound bar or sound system in this car. Basically they went for the sound bar in the EX30 which is put between the A-pillars, the front A-pillars of course that is. And it's just like a sound bar you can have underneath your television at home. Pretty nice, gotta say the sound is good. Then there are some opportunities for improvement on the Harman Kardon system, but more about that later of course. Oh, another thing I enjoy a lot is the pilot assist, and as I'm on a very suitable road for it, I'm gonna activate it as well. Basically what you do nowadays, the shifter or the driving stalk is over here behind the steering wheel, a bit like the Mercedes and Tesla vibe more or less. What you do is you push it once and then a second time, so you just put it on, and also if you want to deactivate it you do the same. But let's activate it right now because it is quite good. It's very enjoyable, I gotta say. Very smooth, it keeps you well in your lane, doesn't feel awkward or unsafe when overtaking, for example, a truck, whilst the previous generation Volvo with the pilot assist tends to be a bit close to the middle lane, and that of course brings you closer to other cars on the highway, for example. Yeah, you can clearly notice that they have tweaked or improved this system, and it's just a bit more calm, easy to operate, it just flows, and as you can see, yeah, it's just really nice. To conclude, two things. Another thing I like a lot are the front lights, basically the LED lights in the Thor hammer style, of course, Volvo's signature style. They are very good, they are very bright. I had some drives in some dark areas the past few days, or on some dark roads, dark areas. But yeah, the lights, they are really good. I enjoy that a lot. So that's a typical Swedish Volvo thing, good lights, and also on the EX30, approved. And then finally, the last positive thing so far about this car is just a very nice looking car. It's getting quite some thumbs, quite some looks, other people in traffic or walking just by. Yeah, people tend to like this new Volvo quite a lot. Okay, I think that is sufficient positive findings so far about the Volvo EX30. So if you are in the market for one, or if you are waiting for yours, then you are probably pretty happy with it. But bear in mind, this is a new next generation Volvo car, which means that, well, there are still some flaws. Basically, it's running on its first version of the software, meant for customers. And more or less similar as what I experienced with my Volvo C40, as I also had one of the first Volvo C40s. Yeah, there are plenty of things that needs to be tweaked, fine-tuned, or just needs an over-the-air update. So let's start with that. And the first one is the one-pedal driving. I tend to always use one-pedal driving, also in my Volvo C40, for example. That is just really smooth. I really like that a lot. And well, just to compare with my Volvo C40, in that one I never touch the braking pedal when I use one-pedal drive. But in this one I need to brake myself as well. And by the way, that's also funny that I need to do it over here a little bit as well. But yeah, the one-pedal driving is just not really that smooth and not that intuitive compared to my Volvo C40 or the XC40 Recharge, or the electric vehicles basically. So what Volvo needs to do, Volvo, listen up. Step into your own product, the XC40 and C40 Recharge, the electric cars, turn on one-pedal driving and just copy-paste that onto the EX30. This one is just not smooth enough yet. And also at low speed, in my C40, I can really move the car like an inch. Really smooth, really easy with one-pedal driving. And then it also comes to a very easy and calm standstill. Whilst in this one, if you do a little bit of creeping ahead, and you go off your one-pedal driving, or off the gas pedal or the electric or energy pedal, I don't know what you call it nowadays, then the car just slams onto its brakes or onto the battery motors and you come to a standstill all at once. It's just not smooth enough yet, but of course I assume and I expect that with an over-the-air update that will just be fine. Now, a second thing you need to do with your model year 25 car is get rid of that Harman Kardon logo on the soundbar, because that thing is reflecting all the time in your front window. It's funny that it's over there and the testers of this EX30 didn't notice themselves, because I already was quite annoyed after my first drive, more or less. Then I hoped it would just be a coincidence, but also right now I can see it, and also last night it was reflecting a bit. It's just over there all the time. So please, Volvo, tweak that a little bit. Perhaps put the logo somewhere on the A-pillar or the small Harman Kardon badge you also see, I think, in Audis or something like that. Do something with it, because this is just really annoying. Then this car likes to beep a lot at you. Beeps, bops, dings, dongs, everything. That has to do with laws apparently here in the European Union. Basically what it does is it will beep at you when you are driving too fast. So currently I have it turned off because you can turn it off. So that's the only good thing about it. So now I turn it on, and then you go a bit too fast, you will hear it beeping 4 times at you, and this was speeding for scientific purposes, of course. Back to normal speed. Yeah, and I'm gonna turn it off again as well immediately. Yeah, it's annoying. And then there is good news, because you can turn it off, and there's even a shortcut for like this special button you now have on your steering wheel, where you can put in like a personal preference option in there. And then, for example, right now you can opt for turning on and off one pedal drive on this button and another thing, and then also turn on and off the speed warning assist. So yeah, we finally have a special button. For example, for the one pedal driving, I would like that a lot on my own C40 as well. But no, then you need to sacrifice it more or less for this speed warning assist, because it will drive you crazy, I'll be honest with you. And also, as the car isn't well recognizing all speed signs and those things perfectly yet, yeah, that thing will just warn you all the time. It's just really annoying. So I hope in the future this will still be changed, but on this car, yeah, it's just a bit frustrating. Now the other thing is that the car will warn you if you look tired. And well, apparently I look tired a lot, because the car is constantly warning me like, hey, maybe you need to stop, you look tired. And I don't know what's up with you in your morning commute to work, but I tend to yawn quite a lot if I hadn't had my first coffee yet. Then the car is just all the time, hey, you look tired, you should stop. Hey, you look tired, you should stop. Jeez, I mean, come on, car, relax. So Volvo, please also tweak that a little bit. Thank you very much from a very tired looking customer. Now then we'll continue to the steering wheel buttons. They aren't that intuitive, they aren't that clear and responsive to use. Now fortunately, as I shared in my previous video as well, for model year 25 they will add some more edges to the buttons, that it becomes a bit more clear. And yes, of course you get used to it, but also like pressing it for the volume, it takes like a second before it responds, and that's, for a next generation new Volvo car, not a thing I would expect. Okay, so we'll continue with some more points. What I experienced this weekend whilst driving back home on a very dark road was that the interior light from the dashboard, which is pretty cool, you have several settings on it, that reflects a lot into your exterior rear view mirror, and that was actually like really taking off a bit of the view of the rear view mirror. And I forgot to mention that blind spot indicator was also a bit messy during that drive, but yeah, that reflection from the interior lights, that was really, well, quite disturbing. And also when I turned down the brightness all the way, it was still like reflecting in the mirror. So that's also a thing I wonder a bit about, like how's that possible? How could you do that? But I wonder, perhaps one of you driving an EX30 has the same already, but yeah, let me know. Another thing I found to be quite funny is that during charging of this car, so for example DC charging, the lights of the car will not turn off. So when you are doing that at night, at for example a charging station where other people are also charging in their cars, you are basically blinding the person opposite to you. So this weekend we were DC charging this car at night, and in front of me was another EV charging, and this car was just beaming straight into his interior, and yeah, that's just really annoying for the other person. So I turned it off myself, the lights, and then when we left the charging session, then I put them back on. But Volvo, just a general remark, when you start fast charging or DC charging or whatever, the car is in park, turn off the front lights. It's well, it's nice for you, of course, you aren't really bothered by it, but the persons in other cars around you who are also charging, I'm sure that they were quite annoyed by this. Oh, then Volvo, also a request, Google related, please add in that pling Google Assistant does when you will speak to it. So for example, right now, hey, it will not do that pling. So yeah, that one. So I believe in my C40, when I say hey Google, it will do this pling at the start to let you know that it's listening. And in this one it does not. So you are kind of guessing like, okay, is she now listening to me? And then you need to look on the screen, of course. And that distracts, so that takes out the whole point of the Google Assistant. So Google, please check, or Volvo, please check if you can add the ping when you say, hey, that you, or well, that the system confirms to you that it's listening and able to help. Yeah, as you probably notice, quite a list of things, and then I haven't even started about, well, the issues and faulty things with the infotainment, like crashing or having a black screen for an hour or Bluetooth not working and such. So yeah, still a very new car. Keep that in consideration when driving this car. You are running it on its first software, which is at some point also fun, I reckon, but can also be quite frustrating. And I also recognize that from my own Volvo C40, which was also very faulty at first and still sometimes. So, you know, hang in there. Everything will improve and get better by each over-the-air update. Of course, I also have some things I do not really enjoy about the EX30. For example, the space of the car. It's an entry-level Volvo. It's a compact crossover car. I am 2 meters 10, so that's like 6'10" or something like that. So this is just not the right fit for me, this car, whilst I enjoy it a lot. Oh, and also the braking pedal is just in a weird position where if I brake, I just press the pedestal, basically where the braking thing is put onto. The ergonomics on this car, well, they aren't really made for a tall person. And also, by the way, you cannot sit behind me. There's only like a few centimeters of space behind this chair currently. But yeah, you know, that's a personal thing. Overall, I think this car is not the most spacious at all. So if you are looking into spacious Volvo, perhaps also have a look at the Volvo XC40 to compare what kind of car the EX30 also is. I think for couples or just for really small people, this is a very good car. But if you are, well, perhaps with a young child, a baby, and you need also a bit more space, then I suggest you also look into the XC40, and maybe even if budget allows, XC60 or a V60. That being said, guys, that is the first video in a customer Volvo EX30, and yeah, as I said, I was planning to do all kinds of tests and trips with this car, but I think the car is not ready or up for it so far. It needs, first of all, an over-the-air update to improve a lot of things to really be able to judge this car properly, I think. If you have one on order or are in the market for one, I recommend this car. I really enjoy it. I think it's full of potential, also a lot of bang for your buck. I think you can call it like that. Till that time, plenty of things going on with this car. It's a bit quirky and funny at times as well, and you know, we are kind of laughing about it at this moment. But I can imagine that if you just took delivery of yours and having these issues, you are quite frustrated perhaps. Then of course make sure to inform your dealership about all the issues so they can also address it to Volvo cars, and they can of course come up with these over-the-air updates to improve the car and also your driver's experience. So I'm gonna continue my little trip in the EX30. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and also subscribe to the channel. In the coming weeks I'll try to arrange another EX30 perhaps after an over-the-air update or so, and then we'll do a bit of range testing, road trip and whatnot with the car, because of course there's plenty more content to make with this car. So yeah, make sure you subscribe for that as well. Thoughts, questions, leave them down below in the comments. I'm always happy to read them and also hear from you guys what you think. So make sure you do that. That being said, I thank you a lot for watching as always. See you next week, Sunday, 3 p.m. European time in a brand new video. Bye bye.